Often there's a discrepancy between the way in which a civil registration authority and the Ministry of Health sees civil registration. There may be a formal process which the civil registration authority owns and administers. However, one can imagine that, due to the fact that babies are often born in health facilities and people die, unfortunately, in health facilities as well, the Ministry of Health has access to data, lots of the data which is very useful for the civil registration process, but often it's not formalized within the formal process. So there are two parallel paths of data which is very similar to one another, but they're not integrated because there's often not a common view by these stakeholders of what the CRVS process should be. So business process mapping has been proven to be a really useful tool firstly to get a consensus of what the processes actually are in a country. So you have various processes within CRVS, for example, a birth registration process. And we know there are a number of stakeholders of CRVS. So normally you have the Civil Registration Authority, the Ministry of Health, and the National Statistics Office at a minimum. But there's rarely a consensus of what these processes look like. So you can understand, if we don't have that consensus in that common view, it's impossible to use digital technologies to actually support these processes, or they'll probably fail, or they won't relate to the problems from one of those stakeholders. One area where there's a big opportunity for us is for civil registration to leverage the existing e-health systems in countries. So a lot of countries have invested over the last 15 years in health information management systems, and a lot of these systems, although they're not currently formally part of the civil registration of vital statistics process, they're actually capturing a large amount of the data which is required for the civil registration process. So by integrating these systems, and we're not quite there yet in terms of formalizing how this should be done in a standardized way, and specifying how those interfaces work so that countries can reuse certain standards, that will be a game changer in terms of providing potentially masses of data as a source for the civil registration process.